1908, Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in America, made an offer to a young journalist. Interview 500 successful men. Find the formula for wealth. 20 years. No pay. You have 60 seconds to decide. The journalist Napoleon Hill said yes in 29 seconds. But what Carnegie didn't tell him was that some of what he'd discover would be too dangerous to publish. By the time Think and Grow Rich was published in 1937, an entire chapter had been removed. A technique so powerful, Carnegie himself said it couldn't be shared with the masses. For 20 years, Hill interviewed titans of industry, Rockefeller, Ford, Edison, Wrigley, and he discovered something that terrified them. But first, he had to survive the dark year, 1923. 15 years into his research, Hill was broke, abandoned, and ready to quit. What happened in that year and what he discovered changed everything. This is the story they don't tell you. Pittsburgh, 1908. Napoleon Hill was 25 years old, a magazine journalist, ambitious but unknown, struggling to make a name. He'd been assigned to interview Andrew Carnegie for a magazine profile, 3 hours scheduled, standard publicity piece. But Carnegie had other plans. Carnegie looked at this young journalist and saw something. Hunger, intelligence, desperation, the perfect combination. The interview turned into a test. Carnegie began revealing his philosophy of success, the principles that built his fortune, and he watched Hill's reaction to every word. After 3 hours, Carnegie made his offer. I've spent my life discovering the formula for wealth. I want someone to document it. Interview 500 successful men. Find the pattern. Write the philosophy. It will take 20 years. I won't pay you. You'll have to fund it yourself. Most people would say no. You have 60 seconds to decide. Hill later said those were the longest 60 seconds of his life. Accept and face 20 years of poverty and uncertainty. Decline and remain ordinary forever. He said yes in 29 seconds. Carnegie smiled. I knew you would. But I must warn you, some of what you'll discover, you cannot publish. The world isn't ready. Carnegie gave him letters of introduction, access to America's wealthiest and most powerful. Interview them all, find the common thread. But remember, wealth has secrets the poor cannot handle. Hill left that day transformed. He had no idea what he'd agreed to, no idea how hard it would be, no idea that 15 years later he'd be on the verge of complete collapse. But for now, he had a mission. Crack the code of wealth, interview the titans, find the formula, and change the world. For the next 15 years, Hill interviewed everyone Carnegie promised. Henry Ford taught him about definite purpose and persistence. Thomas Edison revealed the power of organized thought and the mastermind principle. Two minds together create a third invisible force, Edison told him. Rockefeller spoke about the subconscious mind and autosuggestion. I programmed myself for wealth before I had $1, he said. Pattern by pattern, principle by principle, Hill documented everything. Desire, faith, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision. He filled notebooks, wrote manuscripts, tested the principles on himself, and slowly he began to understand what Carnegie meant. There was a formula, and it worked. But he also discovered something else, something the wealthy spoke about in hushed tones, something that sounded like occult knowledge. They called it the mastermind. When two or more people align their minds toward a definite purpose, they create a third, invisible, intangible force, a metaphysical power. They spoke of sexual transmutation, redirecting creative life force into genius and wealth, ancient tantra disguised as business philosophy. Hill even developed his own ritual, the invisible counselors. Every night, he'd imagine meetings with Lincoln, Edison, and Carnegie, dead men he'd summon in his mind for guidance. Carnegie had warned him, you'll discover things that sound impossible, things that work but can't be explained, things the masses would misuse or ridicule. By 1923, 15 years into the research, Hill had it, the complete philosophy, the formula for wealth. He was ready to publish, and that's when everything fell apart. 1923. Napoleon Hill was broke. He'd spent 15 years interviewing millionaires while making nothing himself. The irony was brutal. His wife left him. She'd supported his dream for over a decade. but poverty and obsession had destroyed their marriage. He was alone. He had thousands of pages of research, the greatest wealth philosophy ever compiled, but no publisher would touch it. Too complex, they said, too metaphysical, too strange. Hill sank into depression. He'd sacrificed everything, his marriage, his finances, 15 years. For what? A manuscript nobody wanted, a formula nobody believed in. He later wrote that he came within an hour of quitting, of burning everything, walking away, admitting Carnegie had made a mistake choosing him. And then it hit him. He wasn't living the philosophy. He was documenting it, but not embodying it. He knew the formula, but wasn't using it. That night, he applied everything he'd learned. Definite purpose, publish this philosophy. Burning desire, help millions achieve wealth. Faith, it will happen. He formed a mastermind alliance, found believers, people who understood. Together, they created that invisible third force Carnegie had described. Within months, everything shifted. A publisher emerged, opportunities appeared, money flowed, the principles worked. But there was a condition. The publisher said, "This chapter, the one about this technique, remove it. It's too dangerous, too powerful. People will misuse it." What was in that chapter? Hill never fully revealed it, but clues exist throughout his work. Breadcrumbs for those who know how to look. The deleted chapter was about direct reality manipulation through consciousness. Not visualization, not affirmation, actual metaphysical causation. Carnegie had taught him that thought is the only thing you control absolutely, and thought, directed with burning desire and faith, literally rearranges physical reality. Every millionaire Carnegie introduced him to use this technique, but privately, secretly. They'd never admit it publicly. It sounded too occult, too mystical, too dangerous. Because if everyone knew, if everyone understood that consciousness precedes circumstance, that wealth is created in mind before it appears in reality, the entire economic system would transform. Carnegie had warned him from the beginning. This knowledge is dangerous in untrained hands. People must be ready. They must have developed character first. Otherwise, they'll use it selfishly and destroy themselves. Hill agreed to the deletion. The chapter was removed. Think and Grow Rich was published in 1937. It became one of the best-selling books of all time, but incomplete. What remained were the safer principles: desire, faith, autosuggestion, imagination, organized planning, persistence, the mastermind, the subconscious, sexual transmutation, though heavily veiled. But for those who could read between the lines, the deleted chapter was still there, encoded, hidden in plain sight. Hill wrote it in such a way that the ready would find it. And the wealthy did find it. They always have. They read Think and Grow Rich and recognize what Hill really meant. They apply the hidden technique. And it works. Carnegie's formula wasn't deleted. It was protected, reserved for those ready to use it wisely. And now, nearly a century later, it's time to reveal it. Hill left 4 hidden techniques throughout his work, not deleted, disguised. Here's what Carnegie really taught him. First, the mastermind. Hill described it as economic cooperation, but Carnegie meant something deeper. When two minds align in perfect harmony toward a definite purpose, they create a metaphysical third force, an intelligence beyond either individual. The wealthy use this constantly. Board meetings aren't just strategy sessions, they're consciousness alignment rituals. When done correctly, the mastermind accesses infinite intelligence itself. Second, sexual transmutation. Hill barely explained this, too taboo, but Carnegie taught him ancient tantra disguised as business philosophy. Sexual energy is creative life force. Most people discharge it. Geniuses redirect it into wealth, art, invention. Edison, Tesla, Ford, all practiced this, controlled sexual energy, channeled it into creative genius. Hill called it the most powerful of human desires. Carnegie called it the secret of secrets. Third, the invisible counselors. Hill admitted he did this. Every night he'd imagine a council of 9 great men: Lincoln, Edison, Carnegie, others. He'd consult them, ask questions, receive guidance. People dismissed it as imagination. Hill knew better. He was using his subconscious to access infinite intelligence, creating neural pathways to genius, programming himself with the consciousness of masters. Fourth, autosuggestion through burning desire. This was the deleted chapter's core. Hill wrote that thoughts become things, but the hidden truth, desire plus faith plus repetition, literally reprograms the quantum field. Carnegie taught him that consciousness is the only creative force. Physical reality is condensed thought. When you combine burning desire with absolute faith and repeat it to your subconscious, you literally command reality to rearrange. This is what they didn't want published. So how do you use Hill's real techniques today? The ones Carnegie censored? The ones the wealthy still practice? Step 1. Define your definite major purpose, not a wish, a burning obsession. Hill said you must want it so intensely that you'd give anything for it. That's not motivation, that's consciousness programming. Step 2. Autosuggestion ritual. Twice daily, morning and night, state your purpose aloud with absolute faith. Feel it as already done. Hill said emotion is the element that gives thought vitality. Combine desire with belief. Step 3. Form your mastermind. Find 2 or more people aligned with your purpose. Meet regularly, not networking consciousness alignment. You're creating that third invisible force Carnegie described. Step 4. Sexual transmutation. This isn't celibacy, it's controlled desire. Channel sexual energy into your purpose. When you feel desire, redirect it into creative work. The wealthy do this instinctively. Step 5. Create your invisible counselors. Choose mentors, dead or alive. Imagine consulting them nightly. Your subconscious will channel their wisdom. Hill proved this works. Andrew Carnegie knew what he was doing when he challenged Napoleon Hill. He wasn't just commissioning a book, he was encoding a secret, hiding it in plain sight. Think and Grow Rich is incomplete by design. The deleted chapter was never truly removed, it was dispersed, hidden throughout, protected from those who'd misuse it. Hill survived his dark year, published his masterpiece, changed millions of lives, but the real teaching, the hidden one, that remained for the ready. The wealthy still use these techniques: mastermind groups, sexual transmutation, autosuggestion rituals, consciousness programming. They just don't advertise it. Carnegie's formula was never deleted. It was protected. And now you have it. The question is, are you ready to use it? This is VineWallet, where we decode the prosperity teachings they don't want you to understand. Next, Wallace Wattles wrote The Science of Getting Rich, then died broke. But that irony? It actually proves his teaching was correct. Subscribe to VineWallet. Master the hidden formula. Create the wealth you're meant to have.